Well, it may turn out to be a very quiet session for the benchmark indexes. One stock which is flying high from the word go today is Piramal Enterprises, 5.5% higher and still counting up. So let's welcome on board Ajay Piramal, Chairman at Piramal Enterprises, and chat a little bit about what really is going on with the company. Mr. Piramal, thanks so much for joining in. Firstly, if you could talk a little bit about the sale of the healthcare insights and analytics business. What kind of sales was it sitting at? Because as we understand, the price to sales of 5 times, almost 20 times EBITDA as well. The company has managed such good valuations in this particular market where getting equity is just so tough.
I think we have a good, solid business that we have built over time, and therefore the buyers thought that this was an attractive business to get into, and together with them I think they'll create huge amount of synergies both in terms of growth as well as in cost savings, and that's why it makes economic sense for them.
Okay. Now this business which the company acquired earlier, what's the return on the sale of it?
So this business, we had bought it in 2012, and since then this will give us about 2.3 times of the multiple of the equity that we've invested. I would also like to just point out at that time we had invested when the rupee was 50 rupees to the dollar, and today you know what it is, 72. So that's been also an advantage.
What does this mean for the other pharma business? How much healthcare insights contributed to the company? And then what will happen to the balance pharma business?
In fact, as far as the pharma business is concerned, we are actually investing in it more money. Today, the pharma business is growing. We have a CAGR growth in that of about 15% on the top line. Our margin this year should be about 23 to 24% in terms of EBITDA. And that's a business that we are growing in terms of size as well. It will be nearly 5,000 crores by the end of in this current financial year. Our pharma business is actually global business. The India part of this business is only about 7% of the sales. The rest of it is a global business, and that's doing well.
Okay, what's the sense on the global and domestic pharma industry? Do you see a pickup in pharma after 3 to 4 years of slowdown?
So what I see in the domestic pharma market, where we are not present, we are only present in the OTC market in India, but the domestic pharma, the branded generic formulations business seems to be now doing better this year. Last year was more difficult, this year is better.
Mr. Piramal, so the company is going through the process of the rights issue. This sale is going to add to your liquidity. What is going to be the liquidity leverage ratio post this?
So post all of this, on a company basis, our leverage will come down to somewhere between 1.5 and 1.7 times. I think what I see in the Indian environment is that today there is a shortage of equity capital. And those companies which have enough of equity, there will be many opportunities for them to grow both organically as well as through acquisitions. And the valuations that they would get today would be, to acquire things would be very attractive. And that's why we feel that this is a time where we strengthen ourselves, because consolidation is the play in India today. And those which have a strong balance sheet will actually do better in the near term as well.
Okay. Do you think this is an environment where big can get bigger, both via, acquisitions, portfolio, as well as new customers?
That's right. I think it is a play in financial services and across the board where the big will get bigger, the stronger will get even bigger.
When we talk about NBFCs have gone through a lot. Do you think the market environment continues to remain difficult? When you get such high cash levels on the book, do you think you can grow ahead of the sector better than others?
So I think this is actually more than enough funding that we will have. And if in fact, you cannot run a long-term financial services business with such a low debt equity ratio. So we have today excess funding, but I look at this as actually as an opportunity, because with this sort of funding, as I said earlier, we can get into newer markets, we can get in the existing markets, we can also become stronger, and there are also opportunities that we can do to either acquire portfolios or acquire businesses.
And finally, what's your view on the real estate sector, particularly commercial real estate? Do you think that we are likely to see some sort of a pickup?
So in the commercial, if you see that actually it has been a good, last few years have been good. In fact, the amount of sales in commercial have been higher than ever before, because there are lots of global companies already also coming into India to get office space. So it's been a good area for commercial.
So much for taking time out, Mr. Piramal, and joining in first on ET Now, giving us a sense as to what exactly the hiving off of your arm means for the company and the outlook on the healthcare analytics.